Hi Cancer, you have your good luck girl over here and her little steps all over the place. So this is always known to bring luck. So let's start shuffling to see what March brings to you. Right, Safi Sapphire? Pretty girl? Are you here for Cancers? Are you here for Cancers? Look at the little face. Intensely looking to what mommy is doing. So Cancer for March. Cancer for March and Cancer for March. So Cancers and Cancers. So bottom of the deck we have 7 of Wands, and I also see a Karma card, actually 2 Karma cards, holy moly, and they're both reversed. So which means that you'll be really challenged and you will feel struggle. You'll feel kind of like pushed beyond your capacity, beyond your ability, right? So what is really interesting over here for me is like the 7 of Wands is always talking about giving up. Like you work so hard to get something, to get somewhere, to be with a partner, and then just give up. And maybe you're giving up over a lie. Maybe you're giving up over well, actually let's leave this out. Maybe you're giving up over somebody's betrayal. Maybe you feel that somebody was supposed to tell you things and they haven't told you things, right? So let's see what more we can find out. So there is like this heartache, there is like this feeling, this, I'm not going to lie to you, this really feels being let down. It feel, and then we are going through Pisces. So Pisces is your sister sign, and even though it's supposed to work really well, it all depends on a Pisces transition, right? So even though it's Pisces, we have Mars in Gemini, so this couldn't be worse, right? Because Gemini chit chats is always kind of like talking about the two sides of the kind of like extreme, and you like security. You don't want like, I mean, like you have like, I mean, X amount of money saved and somebody says, woof, like let's kind of like do this, and all of a sudden you're seeing everything melting. That's kind of like not really working out for you, right? Especially when we have Sun and Neptune joining forces on March 11th, and that's where it comes like to some imagination. Sometimes this imagination in your case can mean feeling and experiencing things that maybe are not exactly there. As I said, maybe it's something going to be there just temporarily. You have like this 3 of Swords, which really talks about feeling of a loss. It could be that you had arguments with somebody. It could be that maybe you even want to finish something because it almost like feels relief without kind of like fighting. Maybe somebody's continuously nagging and trying to knock you down and gaslighting you, that kind of like sort of things. But when the Sun shows up, it's the universal disinfectant. It's kind of like universally really working well over here. And you also have the High Priestess over here, which is like the moon at her feet. It's kind of like intuitive. It's a knowledge. It's kind of like that voice you hear in your head, or it is the voice you're saying, okay, you know what, I need to contact tarot reader, and I'm feeling certain things, I don't know how to sort them out, and now I have this energy that the reader can really take it and explain it to me, right? Because that's going to be quite a bit in your mind. And like, I mean, you have like 3 major arcanas already, so some big things are coming your way. So what you're leaving behind is Page of Swords. Page of Swords reversed is somebody really abrasive, and I can see that. Or it could be that you had fight with them, some verbal fight. You're really good in that jousting, I have to say. However, you don't process it well. Emotionally, you feel that's kind of like a blockage, and that's something that you really don't want to experience. And Page of Swords is like that nagging little thing that nobody lets go. It's a dog with a bone kind of a thing. And what is above you is 2 of Swords. It's again like, look, you're going from 1 to Swords, 2 of Swords to 2 of Swords to 3 of Swords. On top of that, this 2 of Swords is mirroring the High Priestess, another 2, and this is another 2, right? Comme ci, comme ça. You are like kind of like wondering, should I go this way or should I go that way? And decision is brewing, but it's really hard for you to kind of like make it, because you guys have a long memory. You definitely, I don't know why you're Cancer, you should be elephant sign, because you really, really remember things years, and you will maybe process it for years before you are ready to kind of like go on with certain things. There we go, talking about the memories, talking about emotions. So I guess what you're taking in account, you're taking account a whole bunch of things. You take into account that there were clashes, that there were arguments, that kind of like clearly haven't been close to harmony. Some of you have been arguing over children and over upbringing, or with children and with how to move forward. Well, actually, I see both male and female child over here, to be really honest. And they're kind of like part, if you're fighting with your children, they're part of your karma, meaning in the past lives that they maybe have been, in the past life they could have played a different role. Maybe they have been your wife, your husband, your parent, and sometimes we just evoke these people in our life and they're trying to jump on this train, and they're taking the first ticket because you're evoking them, and the first ticket could be just a newborn, and that's kind of like they kind of like show differently, and even though they are present, they're maybe not fully equipped to set you up for the experience that you requested. And look at that, like here I see the one, and here I see the one, and here I see the one. So you're on the brink of something, or setting certain things up, reorganizing. You kind of like at the stage of saying, stop the engines, I just really need to do it, and I need to do it right, because it almost looks like everything was a little bit half-baked up to this point, and this whole half-baked thing was not really that appealing. This is really good. This is like the first pentacle that I see, and it is in your own house, which means you are acknowledging that you are in for a long haul. Whether this is a relationship, and you might be in a secretive relationship, and that's something I also see. If you're in a relationship where you are, let's say, the third wheel, or you are involved with somebody who, I guess it could be with somebody else, so hence you're not getting the proper information, you'll be really questioning yourself this month if this is something you really want to be in and how you want to do it. Somebody will try to romance you, the very same person probably that have been abrasive to you. Somebody's trying to get into your good books, and that's the way it should be, like in your books. You're kind of like saying, like, why is it that you are not consistent? Because for you, like, you're seeing this hot and cold, you're seeing kind of like these different attitudes, and it's really hard for you to, that's why you're really having a difficulty moving forward, because you really don't have a proper read on this person. So when in doubt, then what you do, you just like, you kind of like hold back. You're waiting, you're investing a little bit more time, you're studying this person, you're watching what's going to be happening, how will they react. So this is the hopes and fears. Interestingly enough, it's kind of like setting up walls. So I guess you're getting a little bit guarded over here this particular month. This is always talking about erecting walls, and this is generally happening after we are being hurt or in anticipation of being hurt. In your case, could be both. And this is really interesting about quote unquote being hurt, because somebody is not necessarily, this can talk about rejection, that can definitely talk about rejection, but even if there is a rejection, that looks like they're coming back, but you're saying to them, not so quick, not so quick, just what happened, I just don't want to see that happen again. And it's really, really important for me to kind of like push things kind of like really forward. So the fears are that, you know, you are kind of like separating, like, so kind of like maybe you spent with this partner part of the journey together, and now your road is splitting, and like you're kind of like painfully aware of that there's like something going on. There's another 4, and it's reversed, and it's kind of weird. You don't want it to happen, but you just cannot help yourself, right? Like, this kind of like Aesop fable about the frog and the scorpion, and scorpion is saying to frog, please take me over the pond. I just cannot swim. I'm going to drown. Frog said, are you insane? You're like a freaking scorpion. You're going to kill me, poison me, right? So are you kidding me? I can't do that, because otherwise that's the whole point. I don't want to drown, because if I do that, then I will drown. So frog is thinking, okay, yeah, kind of like that makes sense. And they embark on a journey, and halfway through it, scorpion stinks the frog, and as they're both kind of like drowning, frog goes, what the hell, dude? Scorpion goes, I cannot help myself. It just, that's who I am. That's my nature. And that's kind of like what your nature is. Like, you have that really kind of like crab has that armor on the outside, but it's like so soft inside, right? So you need to protect that softness. And when you kind of like give it to somebody, and somebody smashes it, and somebody tries to shred you, and you gave them like sort of like the belly, you show them your belly, you show them like the most sensitive part of you, and kind of like, even though it looks like that you have some kind of history and even very few good moments, you are still right now needing a little bit bigger and firmer proof for certain things to kind of like move in a new direction. So let's see, what else do I see? Heart-to-heart conversations. Honestly discuss your feelings with other. So you'll be studying somebody. You will be kind of like, you're really on the brink of something new. You really want something long term, and anybody and anything that is not going to fit into this is going to be whoosh, the walls are up, and they're on the out. They will need to prove themselves that they actually deserve in. They will try to prove themselves, and throughout this month it looks like that you will be also gathering your own strengths and dealing with your own issues. You are not able to make this decision, but you're able to observe. And observation is going to be really, really helpful, because then you're going to be seeing this person or the other people through completely different lenses. You're looking them through the history, through the past, through the good, through the bad, and trying kind of to see where kind of like you land. And that's why it's good to kind of like clear it out. And you can say, oh, look, I'm not sure. I don't know where this is going. It looks like you still wanted to give it a try, or you're so dedicated like to how things will work, then you expect, and that's really good. When we have that energy that kind of like is going somewhere, then kind of like the energy flows toward this direction, which means that one way or the other, you're going to kind of like land on that. So my dear Cancer, I really hope this helps. As I said, the High Priestess is here. Maybe you need a tarot kind of like a reader, so contact me at cattarot.ca so we can see that in the more details. If you're in some kind of like tricky situation, or somebody's gaslighting you, or somebody is like blowing hot and cold, that's all going to kind of like play this month. Also, please join me every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There is a live on the channel. For that, just subscribe and kind of like click on this bell, so that way you can be notified. And don't forget to check my Instagram, and yeah, all the information how to contact me is down in the description box. So I love you, my dear Cancer. Buckle up, sit tight, and just kind of like sit in that role of observer, and it's going to do you lots of good this month. All the best.